What's yours?
On the chat with UK and friends.
Don't ask me what I bring to the table. I'm the whole damn table.
All laugh, all me, all shake, all like that you said. Hey everybody, welcome to the chat with UK. With my co-host Matt. We're taking over, you know how it is? There we go. We don't know whoever this is on set. We are the main people.
I have
the
been
main.
We're
taking over. We're taking over, right? Mm-hmm. So
See,
yeah, maybe we
I've
should
been
introduce this people.
Sorry.
These people.
I mean, you could just go.
You can just go ahead, right? Okay, so we're just gonna go
ahead.
ahead and introduce ourselves. Just go ahead.
No, I thought y'all were done now.
Oh, okay. Can I take over now?
Yes,
No,
thank
okay.
you.
Wow,
Please.
okay.
Hi everyone, welcome to the chat with UK and friends. As you can see, they're excited to party without me. I've been displaced. Can you imagine? I'm just messing y'all. But I'm so excited to have you all here. How are you doing?
Good. Blessing, how you favorite?
What a cop-out answer.
Oh my goodness.
How we doing? We have some returning faces.
Hey.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. And a new face joining us on set.
And apparently he decides to take the stage with me. That's pretty good.
Yes, sir.
He just came back to over.
I'm not a bad influence, I'm just influential.
He's just happy to have another guy on set with him, so we'll let him have that.
You
We'll
know,
let him have that.
you get a little bit of PSD when you're just the only guy, and just like,
It's
but
a blessing.
I know it's okay. We got beautiful
Like, you're in the
people,
midst
beautiful
of
women.
amazing, strong women.
No,
Like-
beautiful women, yeah.
Period.
Thank you, Ivy. Alright, so before we get carried away again, I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Lois.
Hi, I'm Lois.
You think you're quiet though, but okay. That's it?
That's it.
See, she's good.
Straight to the point.
Okay.
Yeah, unlike some people. My name is Luba Shagam.
You know, that's what happens when you have a signature move, right? You just look at the camera and they know it. I'm shaking. That's
Alright.
you're right.
Oh, my name is Matthew. This is my first time on the show.
Hey!
Recent graduate. I cannot wait to get into this topic today.
Okay.
We got the money. We got the money. Oh, sorry.
You got this money. Come on, we celebrate money.
Yay!
Hey.
Alrighty. It's me, Idani said I need to, but you can call me Ivy. Because everybody calls me Ivy, but you can call me Betty. Because I'm
Wait,
good.
I thought you said why your voice.
Alright, and my name is Idani said I need
Thank
to,
you.
but you can call me Ivy.
Oh, no, no, thank you anymore.
Or you can call me Betty, because I'm good like that.
There we go. With confidence.
Right there. All right. Hey.
Hey, I'm
Hey.
Christina.
All right.
Hi, Christina.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
But I'm excited to have you guys here on set, and I'm sure we're going to have a very interesting conversation today.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to be talking about mental health. And I think that's so important because there's a lot of things that are plaguing us of late today, and I think we need to discuss how it affects us mentally. So, yes, we're talking about mental health, but the question now is, what side are you guys on? Life coach or therapist? Or are you just dealing with it yourself or using family and friends as your free therapy section? So where are you all?
Life coach and therapist, that's two different things.
Man, that voice so deep.
Shaking being a little
Some
jelly
people-
right
Yeah,
now.
no, right?
Are you jealous right
I don't, Lord.
I guess we can talk about, when we talk about mental health, I guess it's different for a lot of people. So some people might not actually like the word or the term therapist. Rather, so they might choose to go whichever direction, which way they want to go with. But what do you guys have to say about it?
You go ahead.
Just to get a better understanding, can someone brief me on what a life coach is? Because what I have in my mind right now is like one of those like fake gurus online. Trying to,
Just
just trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, just trying
Isn't
to.
it something a therapist does?
No,
They're not licensed.
I think
They're not licensed. Life coaches are not licensed
Like they don't.
Yeah.
they don't have a degree.
at all. So
Yeah.
it's just a self-proclaimed
So-
Well, that's a therapist talking right there.
I know, right?
You
Look
guys-
at
you
her.
guys
Board
you all-
certified.
okay.
Hey.
Perfect
Some
person.
Googling too, but from what I saw, life coach they're just certified. They can get a certification up to like 15 months. To get their certification, they don't need to have a degree.
Wow.
So they just take courses and they're certified. But
So are they qualified enough to help people?
see, but therapists, they can actually diagnose people.
Yeah.
Therapists, counselors, they can diagnose people and things like that. So they pretty much do the same thing, but counselors and therapists are legally licensed by the state.
Right. But I think, for me, I think there are two different things, right? Because a therapist is helping with mental health, and a life coach is helping with your, like, how you live your life, like, family stuff or like your career, whichever one you're trying to place. So I feel like you can actually have a therapist, and you can also have a life coach as well, because those are two different things, I feel.
Because I feel like at the end of the day, a life coach and a therapist, because even for a life coach, you're trying to help a person with their life, you still want to make sure that they are mentally able to deal with
But
certain situations.
yeah,
So
I
I think
do
they
understand
still can help with mental.
they
Help.
can, but I think the specialization is different, because when you think about, let's put it in this context, right? You think about career. Okay, I'm trying to advance my career. It's different from I'm trying to be better with my mental health. So my mental health would vastly affect more things, more areas and stuff than your career would. So I feel like,
But here's the thing. I think your mental health starts first.
right?
Right.
It's just like
Before you even want to like start, like you said, advance your new career. If you're not in the right mindset,
Right.
well, you're not going far. Like, as soon as the first obstacle comes,
Yeah.
well, you're giving up.
right?
You're ready to blame the next person. Oh, it's because the world, life sucks. Everybody's out to get me. Like if you don't have a strong enough mental health, well, I'm sorry, son. You're at McDonald's. Like,
Yeah, I understand what it's saying here.
so,
I'm sorry to make fun. So
We got two deep burns No, what do you guys? Are you guys on? Would you guys rather speak to a therapist, or would you actually deal with your mental issues by yourself, or with a family and friends?
I'm definitely team therapists. The therapist they have the license, they went to the school for this, they know what they're doing. They can diagnose me with whatever is going on in my brain. Me trying to figure it out myself, what if it's something more serious like bipolar depression or anxiety, stuff like that? My family cannot help me with that, period. There's nothing they can do. A therapist can diagnose me with whatever it is and prescribe me medication or anything like that I need, and then I'll start getting better. My family, though, there isn't that much that they can do. Yes, they can help, they can support, but how much can they really do?
Yeah, but I think even if a lot of times we do a lot of therapy. So how many of us will believe in therapists that actually need therapy? We can say, we believe in life coaches and stuff like that, but how many of us are actually taking those basic steps? Because they actually do it. I've been in therapy. I haven't done much this year, but it's actually transformed my own life, generally speaking. I've also had life coaches too. I do have a career coach right now because I'm trying to get into a different industry. Right? They both have, like I said, they both have different roles to play, because I feel like the career coach is someone who's been where you are, and it's kind of like bringing you along the way. So it makes things a lot easier, makes things faster to get there. And then therapists also, you're walking through things. And also, I think therapy actually has two different sides. There's a counselor, and then there's a psychologist. So the psychologist is mostly, if I'm wrong, is mostly the person that's going to be making a lot of the diagnosis, right?
The psychologists do.
Okay.
Psychiatrists actually prescribe
The drugs. So we even got counselor, psychologist, psychiatrist. That's a three different area right there too. So, but I feel like instead of answering the question, would you pick one or the other? Is let's just talk about the topic itself, mental health.
Right. I was gonna ask, Christine, I know you do talk to people. So therapy is not just if you're having issues or having some sort of psychological problems. You can actually have it so people come talk to you if they don't have any issues, they're just trying to figure things out.
Some people, well, the reason people come, I mean, there's something that's going on. So it's not necessarily, oh, I just want to talk. Well, some people really just want to vent. But then as they're talking, there's some underlying issue that's there. And so we eventually get to that issue. So some people come and they're like, oh, I'm just here because my mom made me come, or, you know, my husband or my wife said I should come. But then as I keep talking with them, it's like, I actually get to understand, okay, what's really going on. So there's something, even though some people may feel forced to come, you know, something always comes up that we end up discussing, and, you know, creating diagnosis for. So.
I think Matt was going to say something.
Yeah, no, something I was gonna mention. I'm happy that he actually explained what a life coach is now, so I have a better understanding of it, right? So I think the difference here is a life coach is someone who's like, let's go back to the example, going into a new career, right? He's more of a mentor, right? And he can, the difference here is he can only teach you based on his experiences. But unfortunately, people experience different things in life. Your childhood, the way you grew up is different. You have a different tolerance for, your mental health has a different tolerance, right? There's certain things I can take mentally that maybe somebody else in this room cannot, right? So if that life coach, for example, has a higher tolerance for stuff like that, but you don't, here's where you need the therapist. The life coach cannot help you out in that situation because he doesn't understand what you're going through. Now, a therapist having, I don't know how many years you go through for therapy to be a therapist, but having all those years of experience, they're more like training. As she said, as they talk, you can start seeing, you can pick out underlying problems, right? They're actually trained to be able to watch the person's behavior, look out for key statements they make, for you to be able to give them a diagnosis. So I think that's the main difference between the life coach and having a therapist. So in conclusion, I'll just say it's more situation based. Which one is better?
So is there ever a time a therapist might impose their own stuff? I know you said they're trained, they go to school, they have the license and stuff, but at the end of the day, they're still people. And they could also impose their own feelings or opinions about a certain thing on you that might not necessarily work for you.
As someone who's been in therapy, I feel like it depends on who you are, or who you're interacting with. So I feel like it might depend on your culture too. So one of the things I made a decision, I was going to choose a Nigerian because I know, you know why? There's a lot of bias, right? It's just a lot of bias. I was like, there's no way they're not going to be judging me one way or the other. There's always going to be a judge. They might not be with someone else, but because we have a little bit of culture, and there's like, you know, most of the parties, oh, you gotta suck it up and all that, and then you'll be advising, oh, you need to go out. That's really no. I'm sorry. That's really no why I came to therapy, right? And I feel like, you know, then you have to think about it. Okay, so now, do I want a black person or a white person? It's not because whether the person is white or black, because it's just one of the things I was doing. I was like, okay, so would this person understand what I'm dealing with? You know, there's shared experiences as a black person that's different from if the person was a white person, because there are a few things right there. And then you come down to, okay, do I want a male or a female? Where everyone you're comfortable with, you know, whatever. So I think that's where, you know, figuring out where will work for you and how, you know, I think it also comes down to also being very comfortable with the person. Because your first session is going to be really awkward, to be honest. It was a little awkward. Then you're dealing with a bunch of things. And I feel like, you know, when you start talking to the person, and probably Christina will probably be able to about it, is they don't necessarily impose on you. I think the way my own therapy did was like, okay, so do you think you should take this approach? So it's more of a question, and then you sit back and like, okay, all right. Do you think your parents' relationship, how they interact with each other, is affecting how you interact with each other?
See, that's what I'm like. I'm paying you money to come talk to you and give me advice, direction. You see that they're asking me.
No, but I feel like that's not the point. That's not the point. That's why you have a life coach. I feel like
I can't have a life coach and a therapist.
You should.
I mean, like I'm saying, you said I'm only able to afford a therapist. So if my therapist is not giving me what I want,
So
I have to go like,
here's the thing. Different things, just like how you have a bike and then you have a vehicle, right? They're both taking to the same destination, but they both serve different functions, right? I feel like, it's not about the money, because sometimes we already have the answer. Most people who go to therapy, I feel, mostly you just need someone that has a less biased view, that's not invested in you emotionally. That's some of the things like, I'm never going to meet my therapist in anywhere I'm going. I don't, if I see on the I don't know. It's just how it is, because there's no emotional attachment. So whenever she's asking questions or we're having a conversation, she's not acting because she knows me, but because she wants the best for me, I feel like. And so you're just asking questions. I think it's not. You're never gonna do. I feel maybe Christina probably. You're never gonna do like 5 sessions and probably come up with a breakthrough. But you definitely start asking yourself and start feeling like, oh, things are getting better, I'm communicating better. Because they helped me. I was the kind of person that would have fights and I'm just like, okay.
you always fighting people here on set. No, but I guess my question now is, because besides you, because you do therapy, for those who are not in therapy, how do you, well, I guess that question goes to everybody else here on set. How do you individually deal with your mental health issues?
So I tend to put other people before myself, and it's just been of recent that I started, thinking about my own mental health. So with therapy, I think it was the other day I was talking with Christina, and I found out, she's licensed and everything, but she was like, yeah, I can't know, my clients and whatnot. I was sad about that, but we move. But with my mental health, so before even just thinking about it, how did I deal with stuff? I would definitely, let me be honest, I would just cry. Because I'm this kind of person, like, I used to have anger problems, so when I get mad, I always wanted to get physical. So what I started to do was replacing, my wants to get physical with being emotional. So whenever I was mad, I would cry. If I'm sad, I would cry. And it's not like crying in the open. In my secret place, I would cry. And I try not to, even though I know my mom is definitely there to talk to, and my sister, but I'm aware that there's a lot that they are going through. So I feel like if I'm telling them what I'm going through, that I'm putting this burden on them, especially my mom. So it's more like, this saying, everybody carry your cross. So I carry my own cross of myself. But, now I know of therapy, I'm more aware of it, and I'm definitely going to be going into it for sure. So
Christina, you're a therapist, but how do you yourself deal with your own mental issues?
Yeah, so I know last semester, or whenever I was still in school, like there was like certain situations going on. So being that the school had free therapy for students, I'm like, let me take advantage of this. So that's one outlet, doing therapy, which I probably need to get back into. But I'm just being honest. The therapists need therapy.
Oh yeah.
Because if we are not healed,
we can't heal someone.
Our clients good service. I would say that sometimes I, just deal with things on my own. And then another thing is just turn it to God. So
yeah.
So.
What about you, Lauren?
Yeah, I was the same way as well with the crying thing. Sometimes you do need to cry to just let it out.
Right?
Sometimes just one good cry.
It's all you need.
It's all you need. Just bring everything just right out there, just cry it out, and it's gonna be good. But yeah, that also doesn't deal with the issue.
True.
I feel like
at the moment it feels good.
Yeah, it feels good in the moment, but then again, the underlying issues are still there. You're still gonna need to work through those.
Right.
Honestly, praying also helped.
Yeah.
I feel like, because speaking with other people, yes, you can, but like they're also dealing with their stuff, just like Ivy said, they're also dealing with their own things. And then you don't know who you could trust with your information as well. It's not everyone you can speak
Say it
with.
louder for people.
You can't just be like, oh, this is my friend, I'm gonna share my deepest, darkest secrets. It's like, oh, girl, don't do that. But yeah, definitely praying helps for me. It's like you're speaking with God, so it's someone else you're talking to. You're pouring your heart out to God, and Yeah, that definitely helped. I'm definitely gonna go get to therapy, that's for sure. Still stuff to work on, but yeah, definitely praying and crying. That was my go-to.
If I come to Matthew about yours, I know every one of us here, we're all Christians, right? So what do you say to
Am I?
people? It's your business at this point.
Answering him, please.
No, but what do you say to people who say, because we have some skeptic Christians, right? Who are like, how can you be praying to God? How is He going to come right down and help you? Like, heaven helps those who help themselves. So you need to go to therapy. Why are you using prayer as your source of therapy? So what would you guys say in situations like that?
I fully agree.
Oh,
Yeah, I fully agree. Therapy has its place and prayer has its place. The same way God is a healer, but you still go to the hospital. Why? Explain yourself. That's just it. God is the healer, but you still go to the hospital. God will heal your mental health, but you still need to go to therapy. Therapy is just the earthly or physical way of dealing with it, and God will help you. God could even use your therapist to heal your issues. So I fully agree. Please go to therapy and God. Combine the two. Don't leave one and go to the other. Yes, God will heal you, but please go to therapy, guys.
I think you do have a great point because, one of the things that I feel like God does, just generally, is He's provided us all the solution. And so why would He, intervene when you can easily get the solutions, access? If you don't have access to it, then He's going to intervene. But if He knows that all you got to do is get off your butt and get someone to help you deal with your problems, why would He have to go through that avenue and all that? So I feel like that's probably where it comes to, everyone helps those who help themselves or whatever it is knowing the place of people and relationships. It's just like a relationship, right? There's always a place of relationship. You always want to be, relating with God, but relationships here are very important as well. So where the therapy stops or where, mental health stops. Because there's certain things that mental health can, talking to a therapist would not solve. Just knowing that you have a God up there or you have someone that you're looking forward to that's going to make things better in a way, just makes things a lot easier. So I feel like where that stops, where therapy stops, would just be, where God continues and all that.
So, Kristen, do you feel that people might think you are trying to take the position of God? Has that ever happened? Have you ever felt that way? When some skeptic might be like, well, I'm gonna go pray to God, He will heal me, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to the doctor, I'm not going to a therapist, none of that.
Yeah, so I don't force people or say, you have to do therapy. I know some people who, I've met people who have they're dealing with things and literally the word of God is what helped them through that situation. So some people, they're of that, it's like different maturity levels, people have different ways of dealing with things. Some people, they actually need therapy. Jesus had therapy. Some people, it's just Jesus they need. And Jesus is all they need. Therapy.
So we're not discounting either or.
Yeah.
So whatever works for you works.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Okay. So Matthew, what about you? How do you deal with your mental issues?
Yeah, I'll go off stuff people have already said. Definitely when you feel down, you should be allowed to express your emotions. Like nothing should stop you from doing that. It's not like you should push it down and just keep going forward. Express that emotion. You also need that close friend sometimes that you can talk to. It could also be your therapist, right? Who can probably help you through this. Never feel like, oh, my problem is a burden to you because you're going through your own thing. Never feel that way, right? Especially like for your parents. Like don't ever feel that way about them. And something someone even mentioned earlier, also about friends, like in life, you do have to be a little selfish. You should be able to tell like the friends who are like influencing your life in a negative way. You can tell who's giving you stress and try to like limit your interactions with those people. So try to limit the things that do affect your mental health, because you should be aware that your mental health affects like a lot of things that go on in your life, whether it be your emotions, your relationships, everything. So you really just have to do whatever you can to make sure your mental health is in check. So for me specifically, as I said, expressing my emotions,
Maybe
maybe
express your emotions. No, because I'm just genuinely curious. I'm just genuinely curious because they said they cry sometimes.
They
You
cry.
said men
Wait, so
don't cry.
now we are people that cry.
No, she said that she cried. She said she cried. It's
Right,
bad.
yeah.
But
No,
how
you
could
know the thing when we said that, Mike said men don't cry.
Men don't cry.
No,
So
man,
now
I do.
Let
I
him
do cry
answer
once
now.
in a
How do you
while, but-
express yourself?
How do you express yourself?
I mean, I still stand with my statement. Men don't cry.
But how do you express yourself though? Like, how do you all that pep?
Men don't cry, but it's not wrong to cry, right?
We got it.
It's not wrong.
It's
to
okay.
cry.
Yeah,
We
we got it. But how do you
But
express
we're still,
yourself?
I'm still asking this question. How do you express yourself?
I mean, through different outlets, like
You punch a wall.
I
mean-
no punching.
what's it called? Anger therapy. It could help for some people. There's like rooms you can pay for to go break stuff. So I mean, it works for some people.
One day that room will not be there, and it'll be an actual person. Just saying.
What do you
Wait,
mean?
so
Hopefully not.
are men more prone to therapy than women, or it doesn't matter?
What do you mean, prone?
More
Like-
prone.
Open to therapists than women.
Oh, definitely
Or
men
do
are
you
not.
think that women just
No.
talk to our friends more than we'll talk to therapists?
I mean, you have to look at it this way, right? Men and women express deal with mental health issues differently, right? So women, what do women do a lot, right? Y'all prefer to talk to each other about your problems, as they say, women talk, right? A man
That's
would
a
rather.
bad connotation.
That's what I said. As they say, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I was.
Bro, don't dig the Just go
I
ahead and do
didn't
it.
say it myself.
No, just
Oh.
gloss it over. It's okay.
Oh.
Wow.
No one
I
here.
mean, no, I plead. I'm sorry. I
Forget about
apologize.
it. Don't worry. They'll be
I
alright.
apologize to all the beautiful women.
You're
out
trying not to
there.
think about you're thinking that it would bring bigger
I'm
home.
sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
I lost my train of thought. It's okay. Okay. And a man, what do men typically do? Men are usually more closed off and prefer to just
More
deal with it
aggressive.
by themselves. So definitely women would be more open to going to a therapist, somebody they can actually sit down and talk to.
I would think the opposite.
I feel like
Because
that's-
if we are able to talk to our friends about it, and guys don't really talk to guys about certain issues.
Oh no, they do.
They do?
What?
I would think that they'll be more open to therapy than we ladies.
Guys talk to their friends. There's something I've noticed. Guys, if guys are in a relationship and there's whatever conflict or whatnot, their friends are the first people to know about it. They
No,
have
no,
to-
Are they giving
yes.
them an informed
No,
advice?
yes, how.
I don't know. This is my opinion, and it's gonna be my personal opinion. But I feel like guys talk to their friends more than even girlfriends or mothers or parents and stuff like that. I feel like they talk to their friends.
Because I don't feel like they're gonna give an informed advice to their
No.
guy friends. I think it's based
I
on
think we- okay.
ego and certain things. That's how I feel.
Okay.
You
know,
got two
it
guys.
should be the two guys actually.
I'm sorry.
We have people disagreeing. It's yeah, we might talk to our guy friends, but it's they're much less informed than the details you might give to your girlfriends, right? And it's what advice is your guy friend gonna give you? As guys, what advice do you think your guy?
I'll
they're not giving you
I'll
any
probably
good
take it a
advice.
different perspective here. So I feel maybe guys are not really open. If you're difficult to have a conversation, how are you going to be open to talk to someone else anyway?
I think you guys are better open up with them because when you're talking, you just keep talking and then
So,
you're able to dive deeper.
there are two things to it. First, quote unquote, you're a strong guy, right? So guys, you don't express your emotions, you don't cry, you're not supposed to, whatever happens to you, take it. And so it's much more difficult to express how you feel. So that's why generally when the guy and a girl in a relationship, the guy finds it a lot more difficult to be vulnerable because you're generally brought up to be very macho and stuff like that. And then when it comes to your guy friends, I feel like when we're having conversations, if we're talking about relationship part of it, it's more so of you guys are having the same, you're able to relate. So if you're talking with a guy that has, is in a relationship, probably your friend is in a relationship, I'm in a relationship, we're going back and forth about things we probably find that's probably similar. So I'm gonna ask you a question, but but I feel like we just having a really big tangent in the whole thing. But I feel like we shouldn't gender base it. It's just it would be depending on individuals and all that. So
Okay. All right. So any final thoughts before we round up?
Go to therapy, everybody. We all need it. And find
Okay.
Jesus.
Well, I don't think I don't think we can say go to therapy because therapy doesn't work for everybody.
but have you
That's
tried
it.
it though?
I'm not knocking
Okay,
it
at
down.
No, but have you tried it
Try it.
first?
I'm
Try
not knocking it down because I'm open to therapy. But I'm saying, yes, I'm open to it. But I'm saying,
No, she knows what I'm doing. I'm sorry.
no, I am open to therapy. I'm not knocking it down because I'm the first person that will hit someone up and just vent and talk and all of that. So all my friends know
I'm
me.
tired.
So I'm open to therapy. But I'm saying though, it's not something we can force on everyone because it doesn't work for everybody.
But you know, but
Yeah,
I
you can't
okay.
know if it doesn't work if you didn't
Without
try
trying
at
it
least
first,
once.
though.
Exactly.
How
You
many
can't at
people?
least
How
try.
many
So
people?
let's say like
Wait,
you
let me.
might-
No.
I don't like
No,
because
but
I'm
you
not
did.
trying to-
Let's look at it.
No,
How
no,
many
no,
people?
no,
How many
no.
people have you? Do you know that have been to therapy and said it didn't work for them?
I don't know.
Then you can't say it can't
No,
work.
but
for
I'm
everybody.
not saying that I know them or don't know them. I'm just saying
But-
we can't say therapy works for everybody.
no, but generally speaking, if we look at the spectrum of people who go to therapy, they've generally people come out better. I don't know where I've ever
Probably
heard.
there's some people who have gone to therapy and never liked it.
But it's no, but that's not even. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep
No,
it.
you're asking me. Sorry, okay, sorry.
Whether it's life coaching or therapy, the essence is
I
that
think she doesn't like the idea of the
people
word.
just need to talk.
Yeah. Okay,
Exactly.
yeah.
So it could be. It doesn't have to be an actual therapist, but I'm just saying.
Don't knock it down.
I'm not knocking it down. I'm just
She's not knocking
saying.
it down.
I'm not knocking it
Yeah.
down. That's not what I'm saying at all because I'm pro therapy all the time because I feel like everybody needs to have an avenue to speak up. But I'm saying therapy is not for everybody. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad, that some people don't like therapy or others like it.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily bad. It just doesn't work for anyone, for everybody. So you just find what works for you as long as you have an outlet or somewhere or something that is actually helping you and not keeping you back in the same place or taking you back or keeping you close up. So find what works for you.
Yeah, I think, like I said, don't knock it down until you try it. It's possible that some people therapy don't work. But the majority part of it, I feel like, just because of the anonymity, not knowing the person, no emotions are attached to it, and you can get an objective, stuff. And you can also vent. I remember one time, it was like 45 minutes, I was just talking.
You can talk. But go ahead.
But, you, right?
Shall we go ahead?
Really? Anyway, I feel like all those advantages that we don't necessarily always get from it's their job. They have to listen. That's what they pay for. If they don't listen, why are you in the space anyway? But I feel like that's why no one should because when you come up with the idea of the mindset of and not everyone is benefiting from it. It still keeps you like feeling like, oh, I might not benefit from it, and then you drawing back.
Again, I will say this, I will say this.
For my benefit.
I am not knocking down therapy. I'm still sticking that it doesn't work for everybody, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Going back and forth,
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't work for everyone. I'm not against it, but I'm not knocking it down. I'm just saying it doesn't work for everybody. And
that's my own thing.
No, that's my final.
I do understand, but you can't say it doesn't work for anybody.
But it doesn't work for everybody. No, we can't say it works for everybody.
I'm not saying it works for everybody.
We're living in a world with people of different mindsets.
But I'm sorry.
She's not knocking it down.
I know, but
It's fine. She understands.
No, but he's still arguing with me.
That's the thing, though.
I'm not knocking it down.
Okay. All right. It's
I
okay.
feel
It's
I feel
okay.
like
It's like
saying it doesn't work for everyone kind of puts a barrier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't
I'm
say
People
No.
put into it what they. It's really depends on the person.
What the
Yeah,
person,
but-
yeah.
but what-
Tell
what
me
I'm-
which
yeah, what-
traditional
yeah, that's what I'm
African
saying.
therapy
Like, no,
work
wait,
for.
no,
No,
what?
no,
No,
therapy will work for a
no,
lot of
no.
them. Therapy works for my mom. Your mom is not traditional.
No,
We're talking about
It's
that.
not about it doesn't work
They
for
have problems.
anybody. It's
No, you can-
like,
I didn't say it doesn't work for anybody. I said
No,
it's
but
not
I
going to
feel
work
like
wait,
for
wait, even with your example,
everybody.
even with your example, tell me which African parent therapy is gonna
My
work.
father will not work for my father.
Are you
Sorry.
kidding me?
I'm so sorry. I love you, but it's not going to work for you.
He has to be open
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
So he has to be
But I don't think he will be open.
No, if it's not open to you, then
Work.
you can't.
What do you mean by work?
There we go.
What exactly that
That's
one
another
session?
thing.
That therapist could have said something. The client might have left, and they're like, "I don't want therapy anymore." But the seed that therapist sowed,
So, yeah.
that could be the work.
I think what I'm trying to say is the same way what we all said here. Prayer can be some people's therapy, or prayer and therapy can be someone else's. I'm just saying. I'm not knocking it down. I'm saying it's not going to work for everyone. Just because it works for you
No, that's not
doesn't
what-
mean it works for me. But that's what I'm saying, and what you're taking out of context.
I'm not taking it out of
Because you
context.
still keep arguing with me.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You
No,
keep arguing with me.
but it's okay. You about to ask me a question. It's okay. Yeah.
No, I'm just sticking with that. It's not.
All right.
not
So
for
we just
everybody.
agree to disagree. It's fine.
Thank
It's
you.
fine. Oh, you want to have to find this? What do you mean? You know what I'm saying?
He's not gonna give it up.
No, she's not gonna give it up.
Everybody.
I don't understand. Christina was about to say something though.
He said therapy work for me, it's gonna work for everybody.
No,
That's pretty much what
That's
you're trying to say.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm
That's
saying
pretty much what you're trying to say.
you don't
No,
get
he's trying to say
Okay.
like, how would you say it doesn't work if you haven't
you didn't
tried?
experience.
That's what you
it,
get
though.
it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get that, but I'm
Yeah.
saying
But you get-
still,
no.
it
Yeah,
will
no, but
work
she gets
for
it. You get
everybody.
it.
Okay.
All right,
okay.
okay, I'm
Over to
emotional.
Christina now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Really
She
good.
probably had a question for her.
Okay, so we're going back to the question where we asked, is there a difference in how therapy, are men more open than women are to therapy?
So yeah, in the times that I've seen clients, most of them are female. Just a little few of them are male, but even the males that I have seen in the past is different. Some are more expressive than others. Some are just the typical macho, boom, boom, boom. Others just let it out. So it really just depends.
Okay, I guess.
Don't knock it down until you try.
Shagun.
I'm not gonna have this conversation with this dude
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm sorry.
Shagun likes drama.
I do like drama.
He really does. And he's sticking to his ground, I'm sticking to mine.
Yeah,
and that's
we
where
do.
we differ.
Yeah,
But
no
we're gonna
problem.
agree to disagree.
No, but okay.
Whatever floats your boat. Whatever
point.
floats your breeze. Whatever.
I'm just saying.
Let's
But
do
like
this.
we always say, the conversation doesn't end here. We want to hear what you have to say in the comment section. Are you for me or are you for this dude right here?
Don't for me, girl. Don't be disrespectful
Or
like
are you
that.
for this dude right here? I'm just saying.
All right,
But
whatever.
Team UK versus Team Shegun. Put in your votes.
Right?
For real, so we just had a whole argument.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
But it's all good. I
It's
still
all
love
good.
you.
Uh,
I don't care. I still love you. And you'll be fine. But
yeah, sure.
yeah, so like, share, comment, ring the bell. That's our new lingo here. Ring the bell. And we hope to see you next time on the chat with UK and
Friends.
All right, y'all.